It is right over Wrightsville Beach. I mean, right over to the south of you here from Seagate down to Myrtle Grove. This is where the storm is at this point. You are here, Wilmington. You are now getting the northern eye wall, and eventually, as this storm is sagging slowly to the southwest, you're going to get the eastern eye wall. So no soup for you, John, and no eye wall for you. It is going to be farther to the south. In fact, our Derek Van Dam has a live shot down here in Carolina Beach. He will, in fact, get the calm in the storm, may even see the sunshine through the clouds down there. But notice the eye itself, and you have to kind of use your time-lapse sense here. The eye is getting smaller, which means the winds are getting bigger. They're getting tighter, kind of like the ice skater analogy. Again, I won't go through it, but you get the idea of the Olympic skater bringing her arms in. She goes faster. If you bring your arms in a hurricane, you will get faster winds, and that's exactly where we're going right now. So here, really what we have for the next few hours is this. So here, really what we have for the next few hours. It is right over Wrightsville Beach. I mean, right over to the south of you here from Seagate down to Myrtle Grove. This is where the storm is at this point. You are here, Wilmington. You are now getting the northern eye wall, and eventually, as this storm is sagging slowly to the southwest, you're going to get the eastern eye wall. So no soup for you, John, and no eye wall for you. It is going to be farther to the south. In fact, our Derek Van Dam has a live shot down here in Carolina Beach. He will, in fact, get the calm in the storm, may even see the sunshine through the clouds down there. But notice the eye itself, and you have to kind of use your time-lapse sense here. The eye is getting smaller, which means the winds are getting bigger. They're getting tighter, kind of like the ice skater analogy. Again, I won't go through it, but you get the idea of the Olympic skater bringing her arms in. She goes faster. If you bring your arms in a hurricane, you will get faster winds, and that's exactly where we're going right now. So here, really what we have for the next few hours is this surge of water on up here toward the east and north of the eye. That's the biggest threat right now, is the water coming on shore. Here down where you are, it's the wraparound rain from Wilmington back over to Wrightsville Beach. That's where the eye made landfall about 47 minutes ago. And there it goes. This is now a forecast radar, what it should look like over the next 18 hours. And eventually, the eye will get all the way down to Chris Cuomo at North Myrtle Beach. But in that same 18 hours, the wind and the rain and the surge is going to continue north of here. I suspect many of these islands here, these barrier islands, are getting overwashed by these 15-foot waves and 7 to 8 or 9 foot surge. A lot of these islands are going to be wet, and the sand's going to be gone, and even some of the buildings may not survive.
the PD and the border belt. And we also want to welcome our viewers from Central North Carolina out of New Bern, North Carolina. We bring their viewers into our broadcast now as their station has been evacuated due to flooding. So we are doing weather for two markets here, and this tornado warning is in effect for that Central North Carolina market, not our South Carolina market here in Myrtle Beach. I do want to welcome all of our viewers and kind of keep them updated on what we are talking about. So a tornado warning still in effect here for many locations. I mean, you can see Pilgrim Chapel, Florence Stool. There is that tornado box really extending all the way from Davis through Atlantic. But honestly, anybody just south of these this line here, you are A-OK, at least at this point, because here's that first cell and here comes that second cell, and that second cell looking very, very healthy. Ed, if we can open up Ed's mic, I'm going to go ahead and ask Ed, is there anything of concern that comes to mind? You've covered this market before. When you see these type of cells in the region it's in, anything that concerns you right now?
Well, that couplet is very tight, and there's likely at least a small tornado that very well could be touching down. As you mentioned, these tornadoes are typically very brief. They're very fast-moving. That's why the warning, and that couplet just updated, and it does look a little bit tighter. But I'm also looking at the National Weather Service chat out of Morehead City, and that, of course, is where this warning is originated from. And as of right now, there have been no reports of any damage or any sightings from a tornado. So this continues to be a radar-indicated tornado. But at least from a tropical perspective, that is a very healthy-looking circulation there east of Merrimon, heading back to the north and west toward Oriental.
In fact, we just got a new scan in. I will say we're still tracking those two couplets. The one towards Merrimon looks like it is decaying a bit. That would certainly be some great news if this were on the ground. But you can see it's kind of flattening out, if you will, kind of stretching out. You need a very tight couplet. You need those greens and reds very tightly packed together, and it looks like it's stretching out. The cell that really looks healthy, honestly, is this one right here. And we've talked about how a tornado risk could develop across South Carolina later. Well, take a look here in central North Carolina for our friends in our New Bern market who we've welcomed on to our broadcast today, and they are dealing with these cells. Now, typically tornadoes tend to be weak in landfalling tropical systems, but they're still tornadoes. They still do damage, and honestly, one of the very healthy looking cells rolling on shore that we've been watching throughout the morning. Waterspouts tend to be very common, and when they hit land, they can easily spin up a tornado. Again, it looks like we are headed towards a coastline, which would be some good news, because it would at least head off into what I believe would be a little bit of a river or a lake prior to eventually heading out towards the Hortonsville and Oriental regions. But still, this may also continue across the lake. It may go from a tornado into a waterspout and back into a tornado, and that's why this tornado warning isn't only stopping at this lake. It encompasses all the way back through North Carolina 55 out towards Oriental, out towards Callissons and Vandermeer, towards Bayboro. We are still monitoring this tornado warning. Again, I'm becoming a little less worried about this cell headed towards the Merrimon region. Still, we will monitor it, but it looks like that cell now towards Oriental or towards Hortonsville, that's the one that's headed towards Lukens at this hour. Still very, very impressive. It looks like we got a new scan in just now. Still, I mean, an impressive look at, and even the Merrimon cell still trying to hold its act together.
Not be as tight as it once was when you take a look at the green heading toward the radar site this way, and of course red this way. There is, if you will, some lighter wind in through here. So this isn't what we like to call gate-to-gate shear, where you have the very highest numbers right next to one another. So that circulation is not quite as strong as it once was, which is a very good thing, but still capable of a quick spin-up for sure.
And again, we want to remind all of our viewers in this tornado warning, we welcome everybody from our New Bern market. This tornado warning is radar indicated. It is not necessarily for sure a confirmed tornado. Of course, if Ed gets any new reports from that, from our Morehead City National Weather Service office, we'll continue to keep you updated. But again, we're still monitoring these tornado warnings across Pamlico and Carteret counties until 9:15 a.m. across these regions. We're still going to be watching this cell here. It looks like it's about to exit off into the water. We want to remember everybody this tornado warning for our viewers in central North Carolina that we have welcomed this morning from our New Bern, North Carolina market. Guys.
Yeah, bear with us, folks. Here again, we are pulling a bit of double duty here as we are on the air in New Bern, North Carolina, again, because that ABC station, that crew had to evacuate their station. And you may be asking, why do you keep talking about North Carolina? Well, to be honest, they're seeing the direct impacts right now. Trust us, we will bring you those impacts as Hurricane Florence makes its way into Horry County and down the coast. But for now, we're just trying to do our due diligence and serve those viewers at a New Bern. So we appreciate your patience this morning. And as for people who are hunkered down in New Bern, we're thinking of you too.
Absolutely. And some of our viewers have said, hey, we have family up in North Carolina, so even if you're here, hopefully you're getting some updates. If you do have family or friends up there, that's helpful. And we do know we're experiencing some power outages. The numbers have gone down a little bit.
Yeah, our local numbers in Horry County PD and the border belt along North Carolina.
All right, so basically we're breaking it up into different utility companies. This is Duke Energy. I'm not sure of the latest Duke Energy powers. Can we zoom in to one of these outages, guys? The red area over there, is that northern Horry County, it's looking like? I'm sorry, that is Brunswick County. I'm going to get closer to this monitor so I can actually read these numbers to you. Brunswick County reporting some outages there, which makes a lot of sense. There we go. Yeah, about north of Loris. So that's all northern Horry County. Here's how the breakdown goes, though, because we have the numbers posted on our website. When we talk about Horry Electric Cooperative, perhaps we can get that up. We're looking at 8,400 outages reported, and Santee Cooper is reporting quite a bit of outages. I'm reading these in real time here. Santee Cooper. Oh man, it is hard to kind of keep up here. Sorry, hold on one second, folks. Let me get these numbers. Let's see. We've got thousands of people here. Northern.
This is about 329 right there affected. But again, these are sporadic outages. At one point, I know you said. Those outages on the map
a lot
for
of them
Horry
are
Electric
northern.
Cooperative.
Yeah, they're in the Little River area.
It lines up right with the wind moving in from this storm.
And I have this number here. Let me just tell you, Horry Electric Cooperative reporting 8,400, Little River Electric Cooperative 56 outages, PD Electric Cooperative 84, and it looks like right now Santee Electric Cooperative reporting about a total of 200 outages. So that's all within the last 20 minutes. Hard to kind of keep track of the numbers, but if you have an outage in your area and it has not been reported yet, you can go to these maps we're looking at. These are the outage maps. You can actually report an outage there as well. All the numbers are on the side of your screen there, so you can see exactly how many people are without power.
Again, bear with us and stay with us as we cover the storm. We're going to stick with you as the slow-moving storm makes its way down our coast.
Absolutely. Now, back to Wilmington, North Carolina. It does look like the eye wall has passed, and look at the damage left behind this morning. This is just within the past few hours. These trees completely down. No doubt there are trees blocking roads all over the city of Wilmington, leaving destruction behind. There's flash flooding still expected, and you obviously can see these downed trees there in Wilmington.
And this monster storm bringing monster waves. Look at the surf there. This is Nags Head, North Carolina. Just images of all the whitecaps there.
Absolutely. Also, we want to remind you of the important numbers as we get back into our area over the next few hours and few days. If you need these numbers, please write them down now. You can call Horry County Emergency Management for questions you have during the storm. That's 843-915-5150. You can also call the American Red Cross if you want to know anything about shelters. That number 477-0020.
If you have any issues with drinking water at any point, you can and need information about that, you can call the number 843-915-8804. A Hispanic outreach line is available as well for South Carolina residents. That's 1-803-419-4112.
Verizon and AT&T are offering free calling, text, and data to their customers who live in areas most impacted by the storm. All cell phone companies are keeping a close watch on this storm and have preparations in place when it's time to be in recovery mode.
The Great Eastern Water and Sewage Authority is asking customers to limit your water use.
If you have lawn irrigation, make sure you turn it off this morning. They're asking customers to watch their water usage until after Hurricane Florence. And in the wake of this storm, many have found themselves in need of last-minute supplies.
That especially applies to first responders who may need a boost for the busy day ahead. Our Scott Eisberg went to talk to David Altman, who opened his store this morning in spite of the conditions that are expected.
Good morning, guys. We're joined now by David Altman, Pawleys Island Supplies. You are open. The door's open. Customers coming in. Pretty much the only place here on Ocean Highway to open up. What made you open up this morning?
Well, we've been supplying food for the first responders, having hot dogs. Yesterday we cooked chicken for them on the grill and stuff. We have gas. We have ice. You know, it's available. People need it. Serve the community.
So far, so good, it seems, with the weather. You guys seem to be hanging in pretty well here in the South Strand.
Yes, no more than a tropical storm, looks like. We're used to that. I've been here all my life, rode through all the hurricanes, so I'll be open as long as, law enforcement allow me to be open.
I'm assuming they are quite appreciative of what you've been able to provide to them. Have they expressed to you that they appreciate you're open and they can get some hot food and maybe a dry off, if you will?
Yes. We also gave them a key to our bathroom that's on the outside here, so they'd be able to use the facilities, and, told them the door was open if they needed to come in and, have a dry place or something to drink.
Perfect. Dave, thanks so much. Appreciate it. And thanks for the service. The Pawleys Island Supplies, they are open here right off 17 in the South Strand, just north of the bridge. The Pawleys Island Supplies, they are open.
It is right over Wrightsville Beach. I mean, right over to the south of you here, from Seagate down to Myrtle Grove. This is where the storm is at this point. You are here, Wilmington. You are now getting the northern eye wall, and eventually, as from Seagate down to Myrtle Grove, this is where the storm is at this point. You are here, Wilmington. You are now getting the northern eye wall, and eventually, as from Seagate down to Myrtle Grove, this is where the storm is at this point. You are here, Wilmington. You are now getting the northern eye wall, and eventually, as from Seagate down to Myrtle Grove, this is where the storm is at this point. You are here, Wilmington. You are now getting the northern eye wall, and eventually, as from Seagate down to Myrtle Grove, this is where the storm is at this point. You are here, Wilmington. You are now getting the northern eye wall, and eventually, as from Seagate down to Myrtle Grove, this is where the storm is at this point. You are here, Wilmington. You are now getting the northern eye wall, and eventually, as from Seagate down to Myrtle Grove, this is where the storm is at this point. You are here, Wilmington. You are now getting the northern eye wall, and eventually, as from Seagate down to Myrtle Grove, this is where the storm is at this point. You are here, Wilmington. You are now getting the northern eye wall, and eventually, as from Seagate down to Myrtle Grove, this is where the storm is at this point. You are here, Wilmington. You are now getting the northern eye wall, and eventually, as from Seagate down to Myrtle Grove, this is where the storm is at this point. You are here, Wilmington. You are now getting the northern eye wall, and eventually, as from Seagate down to Myrtle Grove, this is where the storm is at